Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, and in today's video we're going to be building up not one, not two, but three children of the Hydra's teeth from the classic movie Jason and the Argonauts. Okay guys, so what we'll be building in this build is three skeleton warriors from the classic movie Jason and the Argonauts. So this is the famous scene at the end where our heroes have defeated the Hydra, took the golden fleece, they're about to scarper back home, and the locals are like, nope, you're not taking our fleece, and then decide to throw some teeth of the Hydra. That's why they're called the children of the Hydra's teeth. Ooh, scary. And yeah, they emit out the ground, and I was mesmerised as a child when I saw them come out. Well, I'm a Harryhausen fan, so yeah, they've always got a place deep in my heart. So the client has reached out to me and asked me to paint these up. Now I've asked if he knows anything about these kids. All I got was he bought them on eBay, and I've looked and tried to do a bit of research, and although I found a couple of things that looked kind of similar, they were too small a scale for these. So I don't know if these were a one-off sculpt or if they were mass produced or 3D printed or anything like that. They do seem to the touch like cold cast resin, so I think these were actually made from a mold rather than 3D printed per se. Okay guys, so I forgot to say in the original video intro that this client wants me to paint this up in metallic colours only. Now I've done a few model kits for this client in the past, and they're all Ray Harryhausen monster movie related, all except a big Godzilla that I did last year. But all the rest of them are Ray Harryhausen in nature, and they're all metallic, and once they're displayed all together, it really is a beautiful collection. So I wanted to go ahead and incorporate this into the beginning of the video, just so you understand why I'm painting it metallics rather than normal like matte colours and stuff like that. So I haven't lost my mind, it's what the client wants, and at the end of it we should have a really nice display. So sit back and enjoy, and I will see you at the end. Okay guys, so let's start this build with a nice base coat of a nice rich copper. So with there being three of these skeletons, now I had to paint these in stages, so I could get into all the nooks and crannies. Now the hardest part was the rib cages of them all, because obviously there's hollow inside, so that means you had to spray the copper inside it, but not get too close so it comes out too fast or it clogs up or it runs. So that was a little bit tricky, but with a little bit of patience, all's well that ends well. Okay, so now that copper base coat has been given a good few hours to fully dry, for the next stage I'm going to go in with a nice watered down black acrylic wash, and I'm going to get into all the nooks and crannies and then gently mop away the excess with some kitchen towel, and then this will go a long way to adding depth to the models. So after leaving that black wash a good few hours to fully dry, for the next stage I went in with a wide stipple brush, and I'm going to go ahead and add a regular gold highlight dry brush to all the parts of the model kit. And what this does is basically it adds a nice contrast of the foreground in comparison to the black background, so it just goes a long way to adding a highlight. Okay, so for the next stage, now I've got this like watered down acrylic silver. So I've found in the past that if you apply a thin coat of it on first and then leave it to fully dry, then when you go to add a second coat or a third coat, it seems to apply much better than it is if you try to just dollop it on there rather thickly. So seems a bit weird, but when you do model kits, you find your own little niche little ways to do things, and yeah, and this is one of those parts. So yeah, so just gonna go ahead and give it a first thin coat, leave it to dry, and then we can build up the colours at a later stage. So for the next stage, I'm going to go in with a metallic brown. Now I know what you're probably thinking.
Metallic brown? What are you bloody playing on, lad?
Yeah, and normally you don't really tend to see a metallic brown. Basically all it is just I took a load of medium to dark acrylic brown and then just added quite a bit of dollop of copper paint in there, and then just mixed it thoroughly, and then it leaves this metallic looking brown colour. And I tend to use that for all the areas that are supposed to be like dirt and mud and all the nature side of things. So it goes a long way just to adding a nice metallic tone to what is normally a rather dull area. Okay, so now that that brown is drying, for the next stage I'm going to go in with a second coat of that silver. Same again, it's going to be applied rather thinly because it just works better if you build it up gradually rather than just dollop a crap ton of it on there and then just hope for the best. Okay guys, so for the next stage I'm going to go in with another dry brush coat of gold, but this time it's I believe it's called like an antique gold. So it's it makes it look a little bit more rustic in nature, which I think will really make these skeletons or the bones pop. To make them look a little bit more unique rather than just, you know, like a static gold. I hope that makes sense.
What?
Okay, so for the next part, now I'm going to go in with a nail polish, and I know what you're thinking.
Nail polish? On model kits? You taking it now, lad?
But this stuff is titled Pearl Effect, and this will go a long way into making the skeleton shield really reflective, so when you move it, it'll highlight the light. So you'll see as I go on what I mean, but it really does go a long way. Now the trick with working with nail polishers, even though they are fantastic for metallics on paint jobs for model kits, with it being a really thick paint, you have to apply it on very thinly and build the layers up. Because if you just dunk it on there, it'll clog up and it'll stand out like a sore thumb. And then later on, if you go to add any matte varnish or gloss varnish over the top, sometimes those varnishes can react badly with the nail polish paint.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So yeah, so always apply it very thinly over 2 or 3 layers and then build it up gradually.
3 hours later.
Okay guys, so as you can see there, once it's been left to dry, that is a lot more reflective. So yeah, this is going to go a long way to adding a lot more detail. So for the next stage, now I'm going to go ahead and create the Kraken head shield. for the main skeleton warrior. The reason why is I just think that is the most striking shield out of all of them. I think it's a big bulky design that really impacts as soon as you see it. So before we go ahead and create that, I'm going to go ahead and create the outside black edges that you see on that shield from the movie. Okay guys, so I started with getting a movie still on Clip Studio Paint, and then I took my time and traced over the Kraken head design on the shield, and then added the relevant colours, and as you can see there, it's a pretty good representation. And then I also did the same with one of the other shields, which is this like demonic demon kind of looking design. So yeah, so now that I've got both designs, I went ahead and applied them to a piece of A4 size transfer paper. And yeah, now that we've got the design, I added different sizes of heads just in case it was a little bit too big or a little too small, just so it wasn't a wasted venture. So there's ones here I can definitely use. So yeah, so now that we've got this all created, let's go ahead and print it out. Okay guys, that seems to have printed off rather nicely. So for the next stage, I'm going to take it out to the spray booth, and I'm going to coat it with some clear gloss varnish, and then just leave it to dry, and then this should work really good as a transfer.
A little later.
Okay guys, so now that the varnish has fully dried, for the next section I'm going to go ahead and cut out the head size that I think would work the best for the shield. Going to cut it out, and then we're going to apply it like we do any other decal from a decal sheet, and then yeah, then carefully get it on there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes well. So now that the transfer's on there, I'm just going to go around with some cotton buds, and then I'm going to apply it over the top. Now this does two things. One, it rubs out any unwanted air bubbles under the transfer, and it also helps dry the transfer as you're getting rid of the bubbles at the same time. So it just goes a long way to making it nice and flat. So now that we're waiting for that transfer to fully dry into place, we're going to go ahead and start working on the top of the other shield. Now there's not a lot of area to model on here or to detail, but I just thought it would, with one shield, or the main prominent shield being a white and gold, I thought that this would be a good opportunity to do the opposite. So in the film there's 4 different shield types. So the first one is the Kraken head, which we've just started modelling. The second one is Medusa's head, which we won't be adding this time. The third one is like a demigod demon. If you know what that actually is supposed to be, let me know in the comments below. And then the fourth one is like a Kraken style giant octopus. So not Kraken as in Clash of the Titans Kraken, just a Kraken as in like a mythical sea giant octopus. So yeah, so I decided to go for the Kraken head and the demigod black shield head, purely because they are like kind of polar opposites. So while we're waiting for the black shield to fully dry, and we've already got the black acrylic out, now is a good opportunity to go ahead and add a thicker black line to the Kraken head shield. So basically this just goes a long way to make it look more like it's actually painted in place, rather than just like a sticker transfer. Also, eagle-eye viewers might have just noticed that I extended the Kraken's bottom lip. Basically, I just wanted it to fill out the shield a bit more than where it does. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead with some metallic red, and we're going to highlight the tongue. And then I'm going to do a speed up montage, basically just going over with some various metallic highlights like gold rather than like just a standard yellow from the printer. So we'll just build it up to, like, once again make it look like it's painted on the shield rather than just a sticker transfer. Okay, so now that the black shield has had time to fully dry, let's go ahead and do the exact same process, but this time with the very top of that demigod Gorgon demon head. So while I'm waiting for that transfer to dry, I'm going to go back to the other shield now with some just medium brown, and we're going to add a dry brush to the nooks and crannies of the shield, basically just to make it look like it's a bit used or a bit old or ancient if you like. It's not like it's brand new, just come out of a factory or anything like that. So just goes a long way to make it look a little bit more grimy. Okay, so now I know where the top of the transfer needs to go. For the next stage, I'm just going to go over with some metallic paints and paint the missing details. So for the next stage, I'm going to go in with a very vibrant silver nail polish. Same again, I'm going to apply it rather thinly. And this just basically is a top coat over the regular silver acrylic. It just makes it shine a little bit more vibrant, and it helps make it look a little bit more classic, I suppose. Now I'm going to go back in with some more black acrylic, and I'm just going to add a little few details and just clean up a little bit of the overspill areas, and this should be the shield done now. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with that gold, and I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside of the main shield. Basically just so it stands out from the copper of the skeleton bones, so it just makes it look different. For the next stage, we're going to go in with some gloss varnish. I'm going to paint the front facing parts of both shields just to make them look a little bit more metallic. Okay, so for the next stage I'm going to go in with some silver acrylic, and we're going to add a few little scratch marks here and there and a little bit more weathering, because I really want to sell the effect that this shield has been used before or is not quite brand new and perfect. So for one of the final parts is I want to go in with some glorious gold from Game Colour, and then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the skeleton's teeth and a few little highlight ridged areas of of mainly the skull, but a little bit on the rib cage as well, and then that should make some of those extra details pop. And last but not least, I'm going to take the shield into the spray booth, and I'm going to add a watered down black paint to the outside rim just to make it look aged. Okay, time for the reveal. Okay guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this build. Me myself, I've had a blast working on these because I've been a Ray Harryhausen fan ever since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I remember seeing these guys on the original Jason the Argonauts when I was a kid, and they just spoke volumes to me. I've always been into movie monsters, or monsters in general, but these really rank high up on my favourites. So as soon as a client reached out and said, do you want to work on these for me? I couldn't hit yes fast enough. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this build. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please smash the like button, share on Facebook and Twitter, because it helps new people find the YouTube channel, which I'm always appreciative. Thank you for any help. If you have any comments, comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future builds. So once again, I'm Francis Gray, and these are the children of the Hydra's teeth. I'll see you in the next one. If you like the content that I'm making, you'd like to support my work, here is a few links in the description, but only if you can afford it, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.